Power to the people. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Season 3, Episode 2 of One Punch Man. It's still kind of surreal to be back because of how long it's been. It's just been so long since we've last gotten to One Punch Man, and I am very happy to be back into the thick of it. The first episode was really great. It gave us a lot of depth, a lot of intensity based on everything that's currently going. The story seems to be getting a lot more serious, a lot more crazy. We have a couple different viewpoints on it. The Hero Association is kind of in a panic, kind of in a tizzy, because everything is going wrong. We had the Hero Hunter to deal with. We have the Monster Association coming out of the woodworks. Everything's kind of just escalating. And the Monster Association themselves are basically planning for war. They're getting Garo ready. They want him to be on the front lines as one of the leaders. And they've even taken hostages. Technically multiple groups now, because we had the child, but then we also have these soldiers that have just been, turned into love slaves. So, a lot of crazy shit is going down. And while all of this is happening, Saitama just kind of chilling in his room with his groupies. Bang and Bomb are kind of out of commission for the time being because of their last battle against Garo. We have Genos out of commission for the moment. So it's really just down to Saitama and Fubuki, because King's not going to do shit. We know he's not going to do shit. And we love him for it. But Saitama is focused mostly on trying to go after Garo, specifically because Garo hasn't gone after him. He feels slighted. He feels like he's being disrespected because this Hero Hunter hasn't gone after him, and he feels like, oh, is it because I'm the Caped Baldy? Is it because I'm not taken very seriously as a hero? So he feels very let down, so he's going to try and find Garo himself. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, since last week, I have heard people starting to talk about this. And just as I predicted, all they're focused on is the animation. And it's ridiculous. It's stupid. Because the story is phenomenal. The character work is great. It's like everything is top tier. Except the animation. Now, I even acknowledged that in episode 1, the animation was subpar. I acknowledge this. But a couple things here. Do you think being toxic and, just horrible online, especially towards the creators and the people working on it, is going to help? Because it's I heard, I think it was the director, the new director, left Twitter because he was being, bullied by the fan base. Because the animation is not as good. Which, by the way, is not just on the director in the first place, but also is not something anyone should be doing. Even if you think the animation is bad, bullying a member of the crew isn't going to make things better. It's not going to make things magically fixed in your eyes. It's a pointless, just terrible act to take, whatever. And it makes you look like a complete asshole. And on top of that, again, I've said this before, I'll say it again, I'll always say it. A series cannot be carried by its animation. Season 1 of One Punch Man is by far the weakest. I can't really say for Season 3 yet because it just started, but it's weaker by far than Season 2. Because while the animation is amazing in Season 1, that's pretty much all that is. Everything else is just kind of good at best. I would honestly, I think I give like season 1 like a 7 out of 10, and season 2 like a 9. It's a notable discrepancy between the seasons. And based on what we got in episode 1, season 3 is already looking like it could be even better, which is saying a lot. I could go to a 9.5, possibly even a 10. And yeah, I'd still be willing to give a series a 10 out of 10, even if it doesn't have perfect animation, because I've said it in the past, but animation is, like, good animation is a plus. It's not a necessity to make a good show. Good shows can exist and do exist with subpar animation. And I think people need to, like, stop putting, like, everything on one singular point. Of course, honestly, I could probably say this is why Demon Slayer is so popular, too. Because Demon Slayer has god-tier animation, but, you know, the story and the character work is just at best. At least from what I've watched. Um, it just was not doing it for me at all. But the animation was pretty. I will absolutely give it that. I will never deny that. But that's like all the show had going for it, really. And so it's like I could never rate Demon Slayer highly because I can't judge a series based solely on animation. Because even if I were to judge a series like this based only on the animation, it wouldn't reach a 5 out of 10. Because again, story and characters are so much more important and what makes up the meat of a series. I can watch a series with bad animation that has great storytelling and character work. I can't watch a series that has bad storytelling and character work, but like god tier animation. Because the storytelling and the character work are something I need to be able to enjoy the series. They're a requirement. They're the requirement. Because the entire series does run on those two things more than anything else. More than everything else put together. So it's just, the discourse surrounding this season has been just as stupid as it was with season 2. But season 2's discourse did die down after a few weeks and just kind of like became non-existent. People just stopped talking about it. And I'm kind of hoping the same happens here. I just want people to shut up about it at this point. Because they're making like stupid points that don't matter. They don't have like believable arguments in any way. And honestly, I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of this entire debate. I'm sick of this entire argument. And I'm just going to continue to enjoy this. I'm going to continue to love on this series because it is absolutely worth it. It is deserving of that love. It is probably going to be one of the best anime out this year. Just based on, again, the first episode's setups and everything. If it follows through the entire time and continues to be that level of quality, it will be one of the best anime of 2025, easily. So, sorry for the rant, sorry for all the rambling. Hasn't been as long as some rambling I've done. But I just needed to get that out. I needed to talk about this because it's the main discourse surrounding this series. So, thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to get this started now, hope for the best, and see what we continue to get with this episode. So, let's get going. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, yeah, this episode pretty much just continues to prove my point. Because the animation, especially at certain parts in the episode, obviously was once again not good. I hopefully will not keep rambling on this single point the entire time, but the animation was obviously not good. There were points where it was completely still shots and everything. But there were some shots where the animation got better. There were. Um, but while I will acknowledge that, the story and the character work in this continued to be just as good as ever. And that's, again, what really matters. That's the important part to this all. Because, again, without good story and character work, a series, in my eyes, cannot work. But the animation can be shit or almost non-existent, and you can still enjoy a series with that. And it's like, yeah, I know it's a superhero series. I know it's a shonen. I understand that a lot of people want a series like this specifically to have really good animation. I get that. But I think people just nowadays in general, and I've seen actually this sentiment echoed by others. I think people in this day and age are just way too focused on animation over anything else. Like that's the one thing that they always will talk about with the series over anything else, over story, over characters, etc. Always art and animation. And I understand if there's an art style you don't like. I mean, I've found art styles I'm not a big fan of. But I genuinely don't believe that can ruin an anime or any series or whatever. And the same goes for even video games, like with the graphics and all. I don't believe that bad graphics can ruin a game unless it like actively, hurts the ability to play the game, which most of the time it doesn't. So it's like it's just something I've never understood because if the story and the characters are still like top tier, then what's the problem? I genuinely don't get it. But let's talk about this episode. So this episode had kind of a couple points. We had like Saitama's point of view, we had Garo's point of view, and then we had Zombie Man's point of view, oddly enough. Let's talk about the Zombie Man stuff first. So that was briefly shown at one point in the episode, and then in the end credits, Zombie Man was hunting down what we found out to be the House of Evolution, which I had forgotten who the House of Evolution were at first. So when he first said the name, like the one or two times he said it, I didn't recognize it. It wasn't until it basically revealed it that I realized what he was talking about. I do remember the House of Evolution from season 1 now. I very much do. I remember this monkey man. I very much remember all this. Or, ape man, I guess, if you really want to be technical, because gorillas are apes. But, yeah, I remember all of that. So, we have a little bit of a follow-up on that little element, but it's more meant as a gag than anything. Because Zombie Man thinks that they're still active and kind of behind the Monster Association and all, which not quite true. I could see how he could think that with the, like, bioengineering aspect of things and, turning people into monsters. But that doesn't seem to be the case. But on that same note of turning people into monsters, we now find out that Lord Orochi was a human originally. That Orochi was one of the monsters who had started as human and was turned into a monster. And it seems like monsters are like kind of mixed in with that. Some of them were born monsters and some of them were turned into monsters. But to find out the king of the Monster Association, the leader, was a human originally is wild. But it kind of goes with what King the Ripper. I gotta remember that because it's like Jack the Ripper, except it's just a different first name. King the Ripper kind of said that like as monsters they're supposed to like turn their backs on and abandon humanity. And that kind of implied to me that at least King the Ripper used to be human, which based on their design definitely seems to be the case. But we also get the vibe in this episode that Phoenix Man wasn't human. Phoenix Man is just a natural monster. So yeah, it seems to be kind of a mix. And then for Gioro, we have no fucking clue. We're just not told. But Gioro seems to be kind of the shadow leader of the Monster Association, the one who's truly in charge, the one truly behind everything. But the reason that they kind of prop up Orochi as the leader instead is probably so they have more freedom to work in the shadows without having to worry about people necessarily reporting to them. Like, honestly, even their meditation there was probably some kind of bigger plan. That seems to be their kind of thing. Gioro seems to be focused on, like, planning and intellect and, like, just setting things up for the future. So, I'm very curious to see what their plans are with Garo. Because Garo seems to be kind of their biggest pet project right now. So I'm very, very curious. But that being said, let's talk about our two main plot lines. So Saitama is out searching for the hero hunter. He goes to this restaurant that Garo happens to also be going to. Because he just wants to get something good to eat, but he forgot his wallet somehow. He either forgot it or lost it. It's not quite clear for him or anyone else. But he was actually planning on dining and dashing, but was scared to do so and didn't want to do so, but he just didn't know what else to do. So when Garo ended up dining and dashing, it kind of provided him with a chance to take advantage of that as a hero and go chase after him. Even though this restaurant's supposed to have a hero on staff that's supposed to stop this kind of stuff, but apparently didn't work. On top of that, we have Fubuki coming in, because Fubuki's still trying to talk to Saitama about joining forces and working together. And Saitama really quickly comes up with this clever but kind of skeevy plan, orders an extra large order of fries, offers them to Fubuki, and because she partakes of it, he doesn't feel guilty about, like, putting the bill on her. Which is really funny, but you also understand, like, his plan there. It was actually pretty smart, all things considered. Because it's like, he didn't want to ask her if she wasn't partaking in it, because that would be, kind of rude. And Saitama does try to be, a pretty good guy. He's not always perfect in it, but he does have a heroic attitude. And so, by having her partake of even a single fry, it gives the precedence for him to put that on her. Which is petty as fuck, as she pointed out, but, it's something, because he didn't have a way to pay. The funny thing is, there are ways to kind of get around this, because I've done this. So, little story time for you here. At my old house, where I used to live, I used to be in walking distance of a 7-Eleven. And I would go there all the time, just to get drinks, or maybe a snack or two, just simple, cheap stuff. I would go there all the time and grab some things. One time I went there, and I forgot my wallet. I just completely forgot my wallet. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I forgot it. Now, the people who worked there recognized me by that point, because I had been going there long enough. And so they said, well, hold on to your stuff here, you go back and get it, and then come back and we'll give you your stuff then and all. And yeah, fair deal, right? It's like, I lived close enough, I could go back and get it without problem. It's, again, less than 5 minutes on foot each way. So I did so. I went back, got my stuff, got my wallet, came back to the store, paid for my stuff, and left. It's really that simple. I didn't have to do anything more. I didn't have to like make any other like big moves. And I've heard of people doing stuff like that like in other circumstances too. Sometimes they'll leave something behind. Like let's say like oh, they have their wallet but they don't have enough money on them and so they want to go to an ATM. Well, they're going to leave something behind, some kind of collateral to make sure that they come back. A lot of people will use like their IDs and something that's, you know, obviously important. Something that they will make sure to come back for. And then they'll leave, go find the ATM that they need, withdraw the money, and then come back and, you know, pay. I've heard of people doing this for restaurants and other things, and not all places will accept this for sure. It depends on the establishment, but I feel like there's plenty of places that will. And again, having experienced this, it's kind of fun in that regard. So if Saitama had something he could have left behind as collateral and come back for, maybe his cape, because he would come back for his cape. He could have probably left, ran home real quick, and gotten his wallet. Or well, then again, I guess he doesn't know where he lost it. It might not be at home. So to be fair, that would be harder to do in specifically his situation. Because like with me, when I did that with 7-Eleven, I knew I had left it at home, and I knew where it was because I always put it in the same place. So I knew where I had to go to get it, and yeah. But either way, he ends up tracking down Garo, and I'll get to what happens at that point again when we go through with Garo's. So Garo's storyline is actually very similar to Saitama's in this. He's just kind of roaming around the streets, dealing with bullies because we know he hates bullies. Not really necessarily going out of his way to save people, but, you know, he just doesn't like bullies, so he's going to deal with that. But he was very hungry, so he ends up going to the restaurant, the same one that Saitama happens to be at. And he just keeps ordering all of this food, like mountains of meat and whatnot. Big old pitchers of water, which, mind you, he's staying hydrated, so that's good. But, yeah, he's ordering all this food because he doesn't plan to pay for it. Of course not. And he does dine and dash. So Saitama ends up chasing after him. Garo comes across Tareo, the kid from before, from Season 2, who he has a soft spot for. He chases away his bullies briefly, and then, unfortunately, while Tareo is there, Saitama arrives and kind of backhands Garo into unconsciousness. Which is really funny. The funnier part is that Saitama does not know this is the guy he was looking for at all. Once he wakes up, though, Tareo and him are confronted by two of the monster associations. More troublesome monsters, it seems. Apparently, they're not good at following orders, and they just kind of take things out of hand, which Goro purposefully had Teo Garo to test him, to see how Garo would evolve and grow from this encounter. And so, while trying to also get Tareo out of there to safety, and telling him as well that he should, you know, grow stronger to protect himself too, he does protect Tareo, and he does agree to fight the monsters. And while he seems to do pretty well at first against King the Ripper, it's very clear that they're a lot stronger than you would initially think. King seemingly has some level of regenerative abilities, able to like twist his arms around and like in a really gross way and just recover from it almost instantly. And Insect God just seems like a big ass insect dude. Not really much to talk about there, at least right now. Um, but yeah, Garo is facing off against them and is just trying to, protect Tario at the same time. Even if he won't really admit it, he absolutely is. But yeah, I really enjoy what they're doing with Garo, giving him this nuance, showing that he does care about this kid, that he does hate bullying, and we're seeing like because of everything that's happened to him and because of how he views the Hero Association, that's why he's becoming a monster. He doesn't actually want to work with the Monster Association. He sees them as like stuffy. He sees them as like too organized for what he believes a monster should be. He's even calling them soft because of it. But it shows that Garo is like not your everyday, ordinary, just plain evil villain. He has a lot of depth to him, and I love seeing that. I do like villains who are just evil for the sake of being evil as well. I do enjoy those kind of villains, but I also do like villains who are more nuanced. And I think this series does a really good job at having a mix of those. There are definitely villains here who are just bad people. King the Ripper is a perfect example of that. But there are also villains who are more nuanced, like Garo. And honestly, I think Gyoro is also more nuanced. I think there's a lot more to them than we know right now. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thought this was another great episode. I think it just continues to show how good this season already is, even without the like amazing animation. Still, it's proving that story and characters matter more, and it's doing a damn good job at it. So, all of that being said, thank you so much as always for tuning in. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so let me know down below what you thought of episode 2 of One Punch Man Season 3. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.